Heyo, it's Brett, Unchained Souls. I'm going to explain how timelines work. Now, I previously did a video. It didn't record my screen and this very well, so we're going to do it again. All right, here we go. So, as you can see in the background here, there are a bunch of different columns and rows. So, let's take this little purple guy right here. This is where you are. So you're at C, column C, row 3. So this little box right here, think of it as like a picture frame. So if you've ever seen a film strip, you see a film strip and each frame is a different picture. Now, when it comes to those frames, every single picture is just a moment in time. So every microsecond, if you will, is a new frame, essentially. So this yellow one is just showing us where we are in this second. If we were to stop time, that is the frame you are on, and that's how that functions. So each frame, so if we look at going along the row here, so again, we're in row 3, and if we continue on the vibrational level that we are, the vibratory level, we will continue going, and the next frame, again, the next microsecond is frame D. So we're shifting reality. So we're no longer on this frame. We're still in row 3, but now we're moving to here. So now this frame becomes yellow, okay? So bam, you have that, right? Now we're at D. And so every microsecond we're shifting through our timelines. Now, in terms of the columns themselves, so with the columns, again, the next column is D, so that's the next microsecond after. The column B is the microsecond before. So, technically, if you were to shift up to, we're raising our vibration here. What could happen is we could follow this blue line right here, this blue trajectory, and we end up here. Okay, we've raised our vibration. Now we're up here. We're on this new frame, essentially, of the entire structure. Now, what happens when we shift to this new frame? Oh, I don't know why it's ungrouping. Okay, what happens when we shift to this new frame? So, boom, you walk that guy up. Oh, man, it's all connected. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of work. So bam, you're up here now, okay? That's you, and you've raised your vibration. Now, because you've shifted up realities, again, you could have stayed at the same vibrational state and ended up down here like we showed before, but now you're up here because you did something to raise your vibration. Now, you're on row 4. Bam, you're right here. You're a microsecond later, you've shifted up your realities, and now, because all of these things, all of these rows here are connected to a past history and to a future history. All time exists now. So again, all of these events are happening now. Now, because of linear time space, we have to see them in progression, but just as you can take out a film strip and see every piece of film strip, your higher self is always doing that. Your higher self, before you came to Earth and decided to live this experience, have the experiences and the lessons and the things that you are doing, you looked at your whole possible options. So on this huge table, if you will, of possible options, you're like, okay, obviously microseconds will get bundled together because for the most part, you don't have to worry about, okay, what's happening in the microsecond. But every microsecond, you are shifting to a new reality and you are becoming a different person because as you're this purple person here, you shifted up. Guess what? All of these rows have different past and future. So you've actually not only changed your future trajectory, because if you stay on this, you're going to get to 4E or E4 now. You've also changed your past. So if you were to look back, the person you are when you shift, when you grow, or when you fall down a little bit, that's okay. When those things happen, you actually have a different past. Now, most people won't experience the effects, if you will, of your different past or your different future. Now, all of these things are still being understood by science, but even, we're starting to understand how even light affects things. So our past of the Earth now is still being played out, in distant planets and things like that because of the way we see and because of the way time works and because of the way all of the structure of our universe and that we understand through science. But this is the spiritual understanding around it all. So as we go through, and again, we've shifted here. We're on D4 because we've raised our vibration. We have a different past and we have a potential different future. So all of these lines, see, all of these rows here are different vibratory levels. So now, why did I make it a scale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Sorry, I'm pointing at the screen too as if you can see my fingers for some reason. Why did I make it like that? Well, because this side is the scale of positivity. So what does that mean? So with the rows themselves, I've indicated just to help you kind of have an understanding of 5 would be the highest vibration, and again, it's infinite. So you say, you know, and because everything's on a scale. There is no top positivity and lowest negativity. The highest thing is source, and the lowest thing is absence of source. The complete unmaking, if you will. But ironically, everything is skewed positive, so everything is always trying to go there. That's another video. We'll do that later. But we have negative down here, so okay, that's okay. You know what? We've if I can grab my little guy here. No, he's gone now. He doesn't want to come back. Okay, we're here again. If you have, an issue right now, um, and you get a little negative, or you go through some experiences that, you don't handle as well, you can shift down too. You can shift more towards the negative, and that's okay. The bottom, again, as we're shifting through the rows, we have present, future, and past. Now, essentially, as you'd go forward, this would just this whole thing would just pull, and then this would become your present, and that's how you'd see it. Now, not many people, and it's very advanced concepts when I start talking about manifesting things in the absence of time. Like, you could, in theory, build a house, or sorry, have a house appear in front of you, or have your house, if you're doing work on your house, all the work could already be done right now. But because again, we're having a human experience, we have to see progression because our brains can't comprehend the fact that a house can just exist. But again, if you were to cut out all time slots and all points of reality, essentially, you're just viewing it from another perspective. So all you would do is, if you saw yourself building the house, if your timeline is, up here and you're building a house and is A, B, C, D, E is your done house, you could essentially cut all these separate and have E come in, and that's your brand new house, and you could just view that one first, and you could even go backwards. You could watch the house being untaken down, depending on how you arrange those things, but they're just not necessary concepts to understand when it to understanding this. We agree to a certain reality in life to experience as humans for our understanding. So getting to some of those advanced concepts aren't necessary. That being said, again, you can view your past in your head. You can think about your past, but this person's past up here and this person's past here are actually different paths because, again, we're on different rows here. We're on different understandings. So this person would have had to, because each timeline, these are fixed. So each row is fixed. So if you were to take infinite reality on the scale of the rows and you had all different film strips. So if you were to take all the film strips of your life and play them out, so every decision you make is you shifting to a different film strip because each film strip is set. So when we come to Earth, when we come to life, we have all these different options, and that's why we have free will. Even though we think, okay, you know what, our plan is to get the stick to timeline 4 and to get to the end down here. That's the goal of life, is to go through that and get there. And we've learned some things, great. You always have free will to shift up and down, and that creates you different opportunities, different things that we can experience. Now, depending on your vibratory state, psychics and things like that can understand where you're potentially headed. Again, we have to bundle all these things. I can only make so many of these little films strips on my computer here for you. But if you're to take all this, this would be one big chunk here, and then the film strip would be like that. You're going to vibrate up and down. Everything is a cycle in life. So when we're going up the cycle of life, we always want to make sure that we're going whoop, up, down, and not as far down before, and then up, and then down, and not as far down before, and up, and down. So we always want to kind of be doing the wave up, if you will, kind of climbing that ladder. That's the best way to go, because there are natural integration points of learning and of understanding the whole wave of life. And you will be challenged as you learn new things. You will be challenged to prove that you've learned them, if you will. You will be challenged to show. So it's like you're going to have the same experiences over and over and over and over until you learn the lesson and move through it, till it doesn't affect you the same way it did before because of beliefs or things that you have around that. But again, each column, is representing kind of a microsecond moment, while each row is, the higher the frequency and the lower the frequency. And again, there is no such thing as good or bad. It's just positive and negative. And everything is, again, skewed towards the positive, which is actually great for us. Again, I'll do that in another video, but that just allows us to always have the chance to kind of get closer and closer and closer to source. Everything exists all at once. All we're seeing is different perspectives. So when we have a life, when we have an incarnation, when we have a thing, you can think of the spirals fractaling out and continuing kind of the same patterns, the same lessons, the same learning, and as source is exhaling, it will eventually inhale as well, and it just keeps going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And with those fractal timelines. Now, again, a lot of that stuff is advanced concepts. I'll explain that in some other videos. But the key here is that we understand that we can shift, and sure, in our human experience, we might not understand how we could go backwards. It's just unnecessary, but you can. You can, in theory, go all the way back. But again, it's just not relevant for our human experience. There might be a couple people that could time travel back, but we don't need to worry about that, because it's irrelevant. And anything you're shifting to is understanding a greater portion of life. So as you're shifting up, so just think about it this way. So in this moment right now, you could, in theory, raise your vibration right here, but you'll experience it here. Because, again, as you're shifting up and down, where we are, I can't help you understand how to pause a microsecond. It's just not relevant. So even throughout this video, whatever it is, 10 minutes long or whatever, 15 minutes, we're going up, we'd be here. So now we're here. So now you understand, we've actually shifted up. Great job, guys. Well done. In 15 minutes, you've actually raised your vibration, because you're actually understanding more of how the universe works. And you're excited about it. And that's why you're even watching this video, and that's why you've even made it this far. But again, every time you shift, you have a different past and a different future. And yeah, it's just so neat, because, again, we want to keep going up. Just allow yourself to go through the flow of life. Again, as we're going up, we're going to naturally come down a little bit. That's okay. And then but we want to make sure that our new low, there's a concept in finances, trailing stop loss. I like to think about it like that. So as we get a new high, our stop loss scales with it. So essentially, as we're going up in life, we're staying in this range, but we're still increasing. So we're never actually going back down to as far as we were in the past. So that means you're always going to be going up, even if there's a week or two where you're kind of coming back down. It's just the ebb and flow of life. Accept it. This is just how it is. You get to choose. You get to decide. You get to choose how you live, how you vibrate. The best way to do it, again, is living your joy, living your excitement, following those things that are innately in here, because that's what leads you to the life you're meant to live. That's what you kind of agreed to do. That's why you came here. It's going to teach you the hard lessons. But the hard lessons don't have to be so hard if you don't frame them that way. Again, that's all another video, but I hope that this helps. I can make these into printouts if you like and comment and stuff and you want this. I can certainly make this into a printout for you to help you understand. But I just figured it was easier. Again, all of these little black things are little black boxes here are the film strips, are the points of the film, of the still shots, if you will, and only by putting them in life's, video player, which is your eyes, because your eyes and your body and your mind are creating the experience that you're having around you. Everything is unfolding for you as you're here, and so that's why when you sleep, you're having a dream, but outside isn't actually there while you're sleeping. It's crazy concepts, I understand, but this is just how it works. So play the film strip of life that you want. Continue to do your best to shift up. Whether you want to do it in this lifetime or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to end up back to source anyways, because that's just how it goes, okay? With love and light and all that wonderful stuff. I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, please ask them. I'm here to help. But yeah, I do hope that you understand this and that this brings a little more clarity to some of the things that are out there right now. Okay? Love you so much. Bye.